Hey guys, Dan Waters, Microsoft Academic Evangelist here to show you a little bit about Windows Phone 7 plus the cloud. So we've got this really cool story about the mobile device connecting to sort of the cloud-enabled services. All kinds of great APIs that are out there. We've got this Microsoft push notification service to send notifications to your application, to your device, even when your application is not running, which is really cool. So I'm going to show you how all of this kind of fits together in a real scaled up kind of a sense where you might be building this, in a real scenario. So this is the basic architecture you probably looked at a little bit while I was talking. I'll get a little bit deeper into that later. Right now I just want to show you how it works. So I have this database which is hosted in SQL Azure, very scalable, very optimized, no rows in it right now. Okay, so this is just an empty database. I'm going to launch the Windows Phone 7 application in the emulator. So we're going to see what this looks like. So here's the app, and essentially, what this would be is, an actual stock management or monitoring application where you would build out a whole UI for showing the stocks and everything. Right now, we only care about the push notifications. So I'm going to sign up for this service. I'll put in Dan and junk as my password, and those happen to be the three stocks I care about: Microsoft, GE, and Ford. And I do want to sign up for push notifications, so I'm going to click this button that says Register and Update. Right now I'm hitting a WCF service in Azure and entering data into my SQL Azure database. So it says registered for push notifications. Okay, let's make sure that that's actually what happened. There I am. I have this push notification URI that I'll explain in a little bit, and it says that I want to use push notifications, and it hashed my password before sending it over the air for security. Great. Okay, so I'm going to leave the emulator running. I'm actually just going to pin this to the desktop, or rather to the start page, or whatever the Windows Phone 7 terminology is for that. And next, I'm going to run the Azure service. So I can sit here all day and never get a push notification because I'm not actually running anything in Azure. So I'm going to deploy this Azure stuff to the Fabric. And what that means is I'm actually deploying it to like the compute emulator within Visual Studio. I'm not deploying it to real Azure, although it'll be very easy to do so. So because the WCF web role, the user service, is also part of Azure, it's also going to launch this. So you can see, I've got this this user service which is responsible for accepting registrations and putting information in the database. Now you'll see in the emulator I just got a push notification. It says Stocks Microsoft 28.3, and when I click that, it launches my stock application again. So that's pretty cool. So what actually happened there? Well, we can go back and look. And it says Show Compute Emulator UI. We're going to launch that, and let's see what's actually happening in our little miniature instance of Azure. So it gives you all the startup stuff, and you're able to trace to this console, which is really cool. So this is what I've done. I've said I'm looking for users. I've only got one record in the database, but this should happen for every record that's in there. It says I'm searching stocks for Dan, and then it found the most interesting stock according to whatever silly logic I put in there. And it sent this message to the push notification URI, which in turn sent it to the emulator device. And I wasn't even running the application when that happened. We'll wait just a little bit longer. I have it set up to do this every 2 minutes so you can see exactly what's happening. Move this over here, and we'll wait a little bit. I'll probably fast forward the video. There's our push notification we just got. That's coming from the live push notification service, the real one. And you can also see over here what's just happened. Obviously, if this has changed, which it hasn't because look at the time, right? But if this were to change, then we would get a push notification saying that there's been a % change, and then that's interesting to you as somebody who holds stock. So we've seen it all from end to end, and in a little bit in the next video, we're going to see how exactly it works.